Hey, good morning. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with our second step in achieving whatever you want in 14 days or less. Again, I'm taking these steps from the grandfather of great process creators, Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich. Reading this as part of a team and sharing our learnings and our knowledge as a group to enhance the experience of reading Think and Grow Rich. It's a classic book that so many people have not read, and it applies to everything in our lives, anything that we want. And this second step in the process, yesterday was desire. You did your statement of desire, right? And you typed that up or have written that out and are reading that. You read that this morning already, and you'll read it again tonight. But you did that, right? If you haven't done that, I would say stop right now, stop listening, do that, read it twice since you haven't done it yet, and then come back and watch the rest of this video. The second step in the process is all about faith. And faith is visualizing and believing in the attainment of your desire. So if you don't know what you desire yet, you need to go back and do that, or there's no point having faith in nothing because you haven't defined what you want. Until you decide what you want, you don't know what you want to create faith and belief in. To me, faith is believing in something with certainty. That's my definition, not Napoleon Hill's. What I'm going to do is buzz through this chapter. As I mentioned, go through my books and I highlight and I take notes in the margins, and I want to share with you what I've highlighted from the chapter. Again, if you haven't read the book, get the book, download the book. I've actually got two versions of the book right here because this one has got highlighted quotes pulled out, and I might share those with you too because they highlight and share different things that they think are important than what I think are important. So they, on each page, go through and highlight key points or key quotes or key learnings and lessons that they found important in the book. And this version is by, of course, Napoleon Hill, but it's with Joel Fotinos and August Gold. And I just actually borrowed this from one of our other team members because I didn't have this particular version. We shared the PDF with everybody on the team, and some people just got that and are reading it on their computers or their electronic devices. But other of us went to the bookstore and actually bought physical copies of Think and Grow Rich. And it's interesting, but I think we've got about 4 or 5 different versions on the team, and it's fun to look at and see the different versions and the way people have gone on to share this material. But let's dive right in. Let's talk about faith. And I'm going to, again, I'll apologize. I'm using my magnifying glass. That's how I've had to read the book. I'm having eye challenges, which is something I need to have faith will go away soon. But in the interim, I'm going to use my magnifying glass. So he opens this chapter by saying, faith is the head chemist of the mind. And when faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to the infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. Faith, love, and sex are the most powerful of all major positive emotions. And he goes on to explain why love and faith are psychic, related to our spiritual side. Sex is physical and related and biological and related to our physical side. And when they're combined, they become super duper powerful. So how to develop faith? Because let's be honest, sometimes we don't have faith or 100% confidence and belief that what it is that we desire will come true for us. Say I want to make $1 million by January 7th. I have to have some pretty strong faith and belief that that is a possibility for me and that I can make that happen, or my subconscious mind will go to work and make sure it doesn't happen. So how do we develop faith? Faith is a state of mind that may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. So, does everybody know what an affirmation is? An affirmation is a positive statement about ourselves as if it were true right now. So if I say, I am fit, trim, energized, and active, and then visualize and believe and have faith that I am that, as if I visualize it and I act as if I am that right now. I feel the feelings of being fit, trim, energized, and active right now, although I'm still in my pajamas. Then my subconscious mind will start to create that in my life and make it a reality. That's what an affirmation is. An affirmation is I statements. I am blank. I am doing blank. I have blank. And you visualize and feel the feelings as if you've got it already. And that works with everything. I am I want to think of a star athlete, but I'm not a star athlete, so it's hard for me to visualize. I have a great memory. I personally am terrific at finding things. I don't know why, but I can find lost things like nobody else. And I just always tell myself, hey, I'm good at finding things. So guess what? I am good at finding things. I can find my own stuff, and I can even help other people find their stuff when they lose it, because I've developed this belief and I have faith in myself that I am awesome at finding things, finding lost things. So that's an example of creating a reality in my life that I probably am no better at finding lost things than other people, but I believe I'm terrific at finding lost things. Therefore, finding lost things is one of my talents, and I create that in my environment. I'm really good now at finding lost things. That is a very interesting example. So, making repeated affirmations to your subconscious mind is the only known method of developing the emotion of faith voluntarily. So basically, what Napoleon Hill has found out and discovered, and since then, thousands of people have gone on to develop their own strategies and techniques and taught this belief and this principle, is that the only way to develop faith in ourselves and in our minds and in our thoughts and in our lives is by using affirmations and autosuggestion. Now, here's a sneak peek. The whole next step is about autosuggestion. So if you're like, God, I really don't understand what autosuggestion is. What is this? I'm not getting it. I don't quite have my head wrapped around that principle. Don't worry, it's tomorrow's lesson. And it's the next step in the process. So it's interesting when Napoleon Hill's writing, he tells us about something that we don't really necessarily understand, but then he teaches us about it. So that makes it easy to grasp and put to work in our lives. So this is the equivalent of saying that any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed on to the subconscious mind is finally accepted and acted upon. The subconscious mind proceeds to translate that impulse into its physical equivalent by the most practical procedure available. In connection with this, consider again the statement: all thoughts which have been emotionalized, given feeling to, and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart. So basically what this is telling you is thoughts become things. Thoughts that you think repeatedly, thoughts that you think often over and over again, will manifest themselves in your life. Can you think of some examples in your life of where that has happened? I sure can. So basically, what autosuggestion does and what affirmations do is they allow us the opportunity to train our brain, train our mind, and create in our life that which we want. Now, here's the rub. If we are not selecting and choosing what we want, the world around us will, by default, impact us, and we will be thinking thoughts, because our brain's always thinking. We're always thinking. You never turn off your brain. It's always on. It's always thinking. It's always creating thoughts, and these thoughts are feeding our subconscious. We are either feeding our subconscious with what we want to feed it, or it's being fed on autopilot by what's going on in our environment. So if we live in an environment, say for example, you watch the news every day. Now, I think it's safe to say that the news is not a great source of information to be feeding our subconscious if we want to create a positive, productive, resource-filled life. I mean, the news, I haven't watched it for about 30 years now, but I still get the gist of it, and I still get enough of it from other people and the people around the world and around me to know that it's a very negative influence. And if you're allowing the news and the reporting, which is 98% negative, scarcity, lack, focused, to seep into your life, guess what you're getting and guess what you're creating in your life? A whole lot of negative, a whole lot of scarcity, a whole lot of doubt, fear, worry, anxiety. And I mean, look around what's going on in the world and ask yourself, is this what I want to be impacting me? I'll tell you, that's why I stopped watching the news about 30 years ago. When I was working at Procter & Gamble, I attended a training, a really cool training called Louis Tice training, or Tice training it was called, but it was by a gentleman by the name of Louis Tice. And it taught, this was one of my first exposures to thoughts becoming things and what we think has an impact on our life, and we actually can control and have some say in what we want our lives to look like and what we want them to be like. And one of the suggestions he made was stop watching the news. And that is actually when I stopped watching the news and television for the most part, and my life began to change in astonishing and amazing ways. And I guarantee if you're watching the news and you turn it off, just turn it off for a couple of days. Try going a week. Set a goal. Go a week without watching the news. I guarantee you will get all the information that you need to be successful in your life without spending an hour or 15 minutes a day feeding your brain all the negativity that comes with watching news broadcasts. Now, don't stop watching the news on TV and then go online and read an hour's worth of negativity. Kind of defeats the whole purpose. But back to faith. Let me sneak a drink of coffee. I'm just going to share my highlights with you because I think that's pretty powerful. And then you know that they're from someone very wise, not just me, although I like to think I'm wise too. Conduct yourself just as you would if you were already in possession of the material thing which you are demanding or that you're wanting. When you call upon your subconscious mind. So that's what I was just saying about act as if you've already achieved what it is that you want. Act as if you've already got your desire. So for me, for this exercise, my desire is to lose 7 pounds by January 7th because it's a 14-day thing. And I've set in my statement the things that I'm going to do to achieve that, and that's my desire. So I am going to visualize or have faith and belief that I can totally achieve that. I can totally lose 7 pounds by January 7th. I have to believe that and have faith in my ability to do that. So to convince my subconscious and to create that reality in my life, I need to have faith. And in order to have faith, I need to do affirmations and auto-suggestion and be talking to my thoughts and my subconscious mind to let it know that I've already achieved that. I've already lost that 7 pounds. The subconscious mind will transmute into its physical equivalent by the most direct and practical media available any order given to it in a state of belief or faith that the order will be carried out. So basically, I am telling my subconscious that I am 7 pounds lighter. And so now it is going to go to work in my life if I tell it that repeatedly with faith and belief and emotion that I have, and I'm feeling fit, trim, energized, and active, and so much better because I've lost this 7 pounds. I've already lost it. And how do I feel? How do I look? What am I thinking? What am I wearing? It'll go to work and create that reality in my world, in my physical world. By January 7th, I will be 7 pounds lighter. Now, I have some ideas of how to go about that, but I don't know 100% how to go about that. And so I'm going to let my subconscious mind create that as a reality in my life. A mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. A mind so dominated may at will give the subconscious mind instructions which it will accept and act upon immediately. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion or affirmations. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulses of thought. Let's read that again. Faith or belief is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. So thoughts plus belief and faith in those thoughts creates them in our life. Wow, think about that for a second. Thoughts, belief and faith in those thoughts makes them a reality in our life. And he goes on to give a bunch of examples of how that's true. You know, faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles and mysteries that cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote to failure. That's a good one. Faith is the element, the chemical, which mixed with prayer gives one direct communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element that transforms the ordinary vibration of thought created by the finite mind of man into its spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used. Every one of these statements back in 1937 are capable of proof, according to Napoleon Hill. And again, he ties it into autosuggestion, which we'll learn about in the next step. It is a well-known fact that one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false. If a person repeats a lie over and over, the lie will eventually be accepted as truth. Now, truth to that person. For example, think about politics and everything that's going on in the world right now. If we think something often enough and over and over again, we will believe it. What we believe is our personal reality. Now keep in mind that my personal reality and what I believe, it isn't your personal reality. You don't have to believe anything that I believe, and you probably don't. Every one of us has our own set of beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and we're creating our own life and our own experience here in this lifetime. And we all get to. I don't have to have the same beliefs as my children. I don't have to have the same beliefs as my parents. I don't have to have the same beliefs as my siblings. Now, we may share similar beliefs, but we share a lot of different beliefs too. We don't share a lot of beliefs. And that's because we're all human beings and we get to choose our own thoughts, we get to choose our own feelings, we get to choose our own beliefs, and we get to have faith in whatever we decide we want to have faith in. Some people are very religious and they have a very strong religious faith. Other people are very spiritual and they have a strong spiritual belief. We all get to have our own beliefs. Same with politics, people. Everybody gets to believe what they want to believe. Nobody's right or wrong because it's what's right for you as the individual, and what you want to create in your life. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings or emotions constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibration of the ether other similar or related thoughts. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed that when planted in fertile soil germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until the one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. What this means is that what you think and start to believe attracts similar feelings and thoughts, and that impacts and creates more of the same type of thoughts and results in your life. So basically it's saying like attracts like. Now, one of the most critical things in this chapter is called the self-confidence formula. And I'm going to read that to you because I think it's really imperative that we do this. Napoleon suggests that you do this once a day until it just becomes part of your being and you believe it. And he's got 2 steps in here. One is to read this, and then he's got a couple other suggestions. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. But this is a great self-confidence formula. And how that impacts faith is your certainty that you can achieve something or do something is your faith in yourself. And that's all about self-confidence and certainty. So let's read his self-confidence formula, and then let's go out, and that'll be what we practice today and going forward until it just becomes a part of our repertoire, our habit. Self-confidence formula. Step 1. And you're going to, well, I'm just going to read it because he tells you exactly what to do with it. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to take such action. So, what is your definite purpose in life? What is your big, overall vision and purpose and thing that you want to achieve during your lifetime? That is your definite purpose. Now, that's bigger than this 14-day challenge. That's bigger than me losing 7 pounds by January 7th. I mean, that's not even that's like an aside teeny tiny goal or objective that I'm doing as an illustration for this process. Because once you understand this 13-step process, it will change your life. It's revolutionary. It'll make it possible for you to have, do, and be absolutely anything you want, anything you can imagine. And part of that is knowing what you want and then having the faith and the belief that you have the ability, you have everything you already need inside of you to make this a reality and make this happen. And that is and stems from self-confidence and certainty. So step 2. I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So, step 2, I will clearly visualize myself as the person who has already achieved my desire. I've already gotten my definite purpose, what I want to do, because our life is all about becoming the person that we need to be to attract and have whatever it is that we want. Step 3, the principle of autosuggestion that any desire I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. So 10 minutes a day, I'm going to work on believing in myself, having self-confidence, being certain that I have the ability to become the person that I want to become or that I need to be to achieve whatever it is that I desire. Step 4, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. I will never stop trying until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Again, write down your overall aim in life. 5, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. Again, autosuggestion, we're going to learn all about autosuggestion starting tomorrow. Step 3, all impulses of thought have a tendency to clothe themselves in their physical equivalent. So thoughts are going to manifest themselves in your life You decide what you want to manifest. If you focus on lack, scarcity, jealousy, envy, negative thoughts and emotions, that's what's going to show up in your life. It's a universal law. You cannot fight it. It's going to happen. You can say, oh, it's not going to happen to me, but guess what? It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to everybody who thinks that way. So if you are looking at your life and seeing something that you don't like, guess what? The only way that's showing up in your life is because you've been thinking thoughts that have allowed that to show up in your life. So if you want something different in your life, change your thoughts. Have faith, belief, add emotions, and focus only on what you want. Only on what you want. Only on what you want. And if you're focusing on what you want and visualizing it and seeing it and feeling the feelings of having it already, there isn't any room for all the negative lack, scarcity, jealousy, envy, greed, doubt, fear, worry. There's not room for those things if you're focusing on what you want. Somewhere in your makeup, perhaps in the cells of your brain, lies sleeping the seed of achievement. If aroused and put into action, this would carry you to heights such as you may never have hoped to attain. Again, anything, absolutely anything is possible for any one of us. And then he gives a bunch of really good examples in this chapter of the principle of faith and the ability to transplant that faith into the minds of other people. He uses Gandhi as an example, and Abraham Lincoln, and several other people that just really illustrate what faith has the ability to help you accomplish in your lifetime, or anyone to accomplish in their lifetime. It's an excellent understanding of the method by which industrialists and leaders of business accumulated great fortunes, was by giving before they get. And I think the rest of this was an example of a speech that a gentleman did to raise $1 billion. Remember, when reading aloud the statement of your desire through which you are endeavoring to develop a money consciousness, that the mere reading of the words is of no consequence unless you mix emotions and feelings with your words. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts that have been well mixed with emotions or feelings. Now, this is a double-edged sword. If you mix negative feelings with what you're thinking, you'll create negative results. If you mix positive feelings with what you want, you'll create what you want. But if you mix doubt, fear, worry, or any negative emotions when you're thinking about what you want, guess what? That's going to stop it dead in its tracks. And your subconscious will not create what you want. It will create the opposite of what you want. It'll always create what you're thinking about. The price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence in applying the principles described here. So it's a lifelong challenge to go ahead and focus on what you want, have faith in your ability to achieve what you want, and the confidence and the certainty in knowing that you will get whatever you want and whatever you think about. It will manifest itself and create itself in your life. Where failure is experienced, it is the individual, not the method, which has failed. If you try and fail, make another effort, and still another, until you succeed. So there is no failure. Your ability to use the principles of autosuggestion will depend very largely. Really sorry about the phone calls, people. I've got some coaching clients calling in. I will have to get back to them as soon as I'm done with this, so I better hurry up. Here's the most significant fact. The subconscious mind takes any orders given it in a spirit of absolute faith and acts upon those orders, although the orders often have to be presented over and over again through repetition before they are interpreted by the subconscious mind. Consider the possibility of playing a perfectly legitimate trick on your subconscious mind by making it believe, because you believe it, that you must have the amount of money you are visualizing, that this money is already awaiting your claim, that the subconscious mind must hand over to you practical plans for acquiring the money which is yours. Hand over this thought to your imagination and see what your imagination can or will do to create practical plans for the accumulation of money through transmutation of your desire. Begin at once to see yourself in possession of the money, demanding and expecting, meanwhile, that your subconscious mind will hand over the plan or plans you need. Be on the alert for these plans, and when they appear, put them into immediate action. There'll probably be a flash in your mind or an intuition, but go ahead and as soon as you get an idea, take action, take a step toward it. When visualizing the money you intend to accumulate with your eyes closed, see yourself rendering the service or delivering the merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. This is important. Remember, there's no something for nothing. Uh-oh. Don't be mad, but I accidentally skipped ahead to the auto-suggestion chapter. That's what happens when the phone rings. It gets me all Twitter-pated and mixed up. So, faith. What are you going to do today to develop faith in your desire? Number one, make sure that you did yesterday's exercise on desire, and you wrote out what it is that you want during this exercise just for these 14 days. Just in the next 12 days now, or 13 days now, what is it that you want? Again, me, 7 pounds. I'm going to lose 7 pounds. So that's what I wrote out. Do that. Now, have faith. Think of a couple of affirmations that you can do and how you can visualize and increase your faith in your ability to achieve your desire. Go ahead and do the self-confidence exercise, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. We're going to talk about auto-suggestion.